Hi, this is Mary with Potter's Perch. I have a whole bunch of dishes here to share. I plan to share the glaze combinations that I used. If I fail to do that, feel free to ask me in the comments. Sometimes I get a little distracted. Anyhow, so this is my third video. I mean, if anybody's keeping track, I am. I've gotten a lot of likes and subscriptions, and I really appreciate that. That's very encouraging. And I've gotten some input and some encouragement. One of the things that, once again, my kids, they're always willing to help me improve myself. So they said, "You're being awfully formal, Mom. You should be a little bit more boisterous," because normally I am. So I'm going to tell my favorite joke. Here is my boisterous part of the video. There were these three guys. Two of them walked into a bar, and the third guy ducked. Anyhow, that cracks me up. I hope you get the punchline. Anyhow, let's talk about pottery, because I'm not really that funny. Okay, so I have been doing a lot of glazing. I had a few months worth of bisqueware built up on the shelf. I don't normally have this much glaze to run at one time. So you're probably not going to see much glaze from me for a little while, but I'm happy to do some projects. I was thinking I would do that fern platter. Everybody really enjoyed that. Did a lot of pink this time. I had shown you in a previous video this flower plate I had made, primarily spectrum glazes, autumn purple, kimchi, and pearl white. So I have some soup bowls that I made for them. This is a speckled white stoneware, and that pearl white, you do need to be a little bit careful. Even on its own, when it picks up those manganese speckles, it really takes off running. And then on the inside, I did autumn purple up on the rim, kimchi down in the bottom, and then a layer of pearl white underneath. They're very dynamic, but they look super cute with the plates. I'm going to sell those as sets. This one I did, and I think I actually like this better. I'm apparently in a really pink mood. This is same clay, and this is kimchi on the outside, pearl white underneath, and then autumn purple around the rim. So I have 3 of those. I have several of these. These are a smaller mug. The bottom is winter wood. That is a Mayco glaze, and then this spectrum kimchi. Once again, on the speckled white. This is a Runyon's. I think it's SP11 is the name of it. Runyon's is in Michigan, north of Flint. They're a pottery supply store. So I've got a few of those. Really enjoyed that. Since I was in the pink mood, I've got a nice serving bowl. Same concept. I did pearl white as the base glaze, and then kimchi towards the bottom, autumn purple up at the top, and then just a layer of pearl white around the rim, and it really gets a lot of movement. On the outside, the winter wood, I went a little too thin on the kimchi. It's okay. I'm not going to refire it. I'm going to leave it as it is. It turned out nice. It's a nice serving bowl. So that will go with that set. I also did a decanter, and I went way too light on the kimchi. I have a little ADD when I glaze, and so I'm assuming I thought I had more glaze on it than I did. But once again, winter wood from Mayco. Kimchi, there is light flux right here. And then inside, is, you can't see it. I just did on the inside, the liner, I did cream from Clayscapes. And then I was thinking the cream would give me a white top on it. But on kimchi, this is what the cream does on kimchi. I don't hate it. I wish it was a little bit more pink. But one thing I have found with taking my pieces to sales is sometimes I'm disappointed in something because I had an expectation and other people are very excited about it because they like the way it looks. So I try not to be too judgmental. I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the sale. If it doesn't sell, I'll probably put more glaze on it and fire it. So that's my pink spree. I have a pink, oh no, I've got more. So actually I had 2 pink chip dips and one of them cracked totally in half. I am not having a good run. But this is same clay from Runyon's, the speckled white, and the same glaze combination with the autumn purple, kimchi, and pearl white. And I really like that. So I don't know if the customers will be in a pink mood, but I've been in a pink mood. I really don't have anything that matches this platter. I don't have a set for this. But this is, let's see. So pitch black, this is also a Clayscapes glaze. I think it performs very similar to Obsidian from Amaco, but I think Clayscapes is a lot more reasonable and you can get your dipping glazes, etc. And then around the rim is pearl white. The next one of these I'm gonna reverse that because when that pearl white is on the black, it makes it run and turns it blue. So not exactly what I was going for, but it's okay. A few more platters I have, and these are, well, the plant is actually Queen Anne's lace or wild carrot, ditch flowers. So I imprint, I roll the piece into the clay, pull it out, bisque fire it, and then when it's bisqued, I will put, this one is cobalt and this one is copper, put it in, wipe it back, and then both of these are dipped in cream from Clayscapes. And I've got a few of those. The forms, these are GR Pottery forms that I'm using to form them on. So yeah, those are very unique. I like the botanical pieces. All right, so then I have some mugs in, once again, same clay, speckled white from Runyon's, and then I've got winter wood on the bottom. The green is Sea Spray. Sea Spray is an Opulence glaze. I think they're in Kentucky or Tennessee, but very consistent. The glazes don't take off and run, they don't crawl. Keep them at the right specific gravity and they perform very nicely. I've not had them craze. I use a lot of different clay bodies. Once again, a little ADD. But I have been very happy with any of the Opulence. I've only used a few, but any of the Opulence glazes I've been very happy with. I have a little platter and it's textured. I don't know if you can see it. Anyhow, it does well on texture too. It does show the texture. I have shown both of these designs of butter dishes, but not the glaze combination, I don't believe. So this is, and I've shown this glaze combination not on a butter dish, I think it was on mugs. These are Clayscapes glazes. This is my favorite combination. It is Starry Night, which is a Amaco with a lot of gold flecks. It performs really nicely. I mean, if it's by itself, you do a slow cool and you get, it's like a Amaco gold. It's a very nice glaze, very consistent. And then over the top of this is Coastal Blue, and that's what you get with this combination. Coastal Blue on its own is a pinkish, bluish color, kind of like Lynette's Opal, if you're familiar with that, but I recommend this glaze. It gets a lot of compliments. It shows. I enjoy it. It's easy to use, but that's Starry Night and Coastal Blue. Another butter dish, a little different pattern. This pattern is from a placemat. I know I've shown it to you before, but this is textured turquoise from Amaco. I haven't been using a ton of Amaco. I got a little upset with some performance issues and kind of started experimenting with other things, but I think that turned out really nice. Let's see. Here, let's talk about, okay, so I started mixing my own glazes. I'm not creating glaze recipes, I'm mixing them from a recipe. It's not rocket science. I made it a lot harder than it needed to be. But I watched a lot of videos, I read a lot of books, I read a lot of articles on Facebook and online, and I just couldn't get the concept of the recipe, of the glaze formula. So I bought this book. This is John Britt's Complete Guide to Mid-Range Glazes. I started at the beginning of the book and I started reading it, and I got it. The light bulb went off, and this is an invaluable, they are not paying me anything to talk about this. I have just had a very good experience with this book. So highly recommend, if you want to make your own glazes, I would definitely start here. One of the glazes that I have had that I enjoy is John Cash Blue. It shows texture very well. This is a little hand-built dish, and this is on Runyon's Speckled Buff Clay. John Cash Blue, if you don't like crazing, don't put it on Runyon's white clay because it crazes really bad. I used some Rocky Mountain speckled clay and it crazed really bad on that too, so it's a trial and error. But on the Speckled Buff from Runyon's, it comes out really nice. So this is the John Cash Blue with some light flux from Mayco. Light flux on everything, right? Just put it on everything. Here is, so this is a black clay. I believe this is Laguna's B3. I believe that's correct. But this is a difficult clay to glaze because it just eats up all of the glaze. But this is John Cash Blue. That's all that is on there. And it turned out really nice. That is a nice glaze to use on the black clay. And then here it is on, this is that Rocky Mountain clay I've been buying in Kalamazoo. I really like the clay, but it did craze. So there's that. Another recipe out of that book is spearmint. This, I believe, had a little bit of manganese wash on the rim and that kind of got eaten up, but it is the speckled white clay again, and this is the spearmint, and it's gone a little bit matte there. It's a little matte there, but then it's got a high gloss. I don't have an answer why some of it's matte and why some of it's glossy. I'm assuming it has to do with heat work and which side was churned towards the elements. But that is another recipe in the John Britt Mid-Range Glazes book. A spearmint, this is back to Clayscapes. This is their spearmint, and you can buy their glazes in dipping or in brush on. But in the swirl, I've got a little copper wash wiped back, and then on the rim is more of that Starry Night, and that is, boy, that was fun opening the kiln and finding that the very first time. So that is a really nice combination. And I've got a nice chip dip, the pasta dish, a couple of soup bowls, and a couple of mugs. Those will be going to the sale with me, but that is spearmint from Clayscapes. Yeah, I think I am going to, here's one more mixed, sorry, I got so much stuff I can't stay in the frame. This is another John Britt, it's not his glaze formula, it's in his book. And this is a version of June Perry Red. It's June Perry Aquamarine. So you would use black copper oxide, but it came out a really nice teal color, kind of celadon-esque, and there's some purple in it, some blue. It's very dynamic. I plan on doing some experiments with this. I'd like to see what the like the copper wash and the cobalt wash, what they look like underneath, what it does with flux, etc. So there's a lot of experimenting to go with that. Ooh, yikes. Speaking of experimenting, so I was making decanters and I wasn't being successful with the size. These were decanter fails, so they are now bud vases. This is Bailey's Red, and it is it the Amaco Ancient Copper? So that's with 2 coats, and it gets a lot of crystals. When it's thin, it's just brown, so you want to go heavy. I run a slow cool program. I go up to 2167, hold there for 5 minutes, and then back to 1900 and hold at 1900 for a half an hour. This is June Perry Purple, and then this is Folk Art Guild White. In my mind, Folk Art Guild White, the John Britt Mid-Range book, and bright purple over the top of it, and I like that too. So some of my failed pieces, I use them for test pieces. I have 2 more pieces to show you. I am pretty over the moon about them. Let me see if I can do this without breaking them, because I will start crying if I drop one. Okay, so I was, to make a living, I'm a realtor. That's what my real job is. That's what pays for the addiction here. And I was at a closing at a title office, and they had a centerpiece on a credenza, and I loved the shape of it. And I thought, I am gonna make some of those. So this is one of the 2. So you could go without anything in it. You could do a dried flower bouquet. The design on it, rollers and a stencil. This is Opulence Sea Spray, and I put on a bit on the bisque piece. I put on copper wash, wiped it back, you know, took a paintbrush, painted on there. It really, you can see it more where it dripped out of the center pattern. Not sure how I'm going to price this. The problem I discovered with these bigger pieces is they take up a lot of room in the kiln. The second piece is glazed with blue spruce out of the Mid-Range book. This piece was made for the glaze. And sadly, that's my peacock. Sadly, I have to put it back in the fire because I missed a little bit of glaze there. This texture was made with a placemat. On the rim, this braid at Christmas time, I was standing in the checkout at Walmart, like I was at Walmart, and they had it was for fondant, and they had a mold, and there were like a bead of pearls and a couple of other things, but then this braid, and then the handles are just a coil with the texture put in them, but I am ecstatic with that piece. I think it has a home. I gotta decide on pricing. That's my big dilemma right now. Is they're a lot of clay. They were time consuming to make, trying to keep it all together with that big of a slab, and then how much room they take up in the kiln. So I need to give that some thought. But let me set this down. That is what I have. I need to price everything up, box everything up. I am going to go back to making. I'm done glazing for a little while. I am happy to try and do a tutorial if there is something you want to see. Leave me, I read the comments. I try to respond to them all. If I've missed you, I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't see it. But if you've got some questions, if you've got something you'd like to see me make, if you have some suggestions on things I can do better, or maybe funnier jokes. Anyhow, that is all for today, and I will see you in the next video.